golly. Golly is all I can say. Man, boy, oh boy, it has been a busy few weeks. It has been a roller coaster, an emotional roller coaster. The trials and tribulations that this channel has gone through over the last few weeks it's been too much, man. It's been too much. My heart can't take it. It's been chaos, utter chaos. Because I mean, all manner of reasons, all sorts of things going on. But the main issue was that Alt Swift X, this channel, got taken down. It got terminated, like we was a Schwarzenegger. We got taken off YouTube. We got censored. Where's my first amendment? Which amendment is it? None of my amendment rights were respected because the Alt Swift X channel got terminated. Which was a real pain in the old pinny, you know, because we had to go through an appeals process in like YouTube court. We had to go through the whole YouTube process. I went up to the YouTube Supreme Court, and I got a court-appointed YouTube lawyer, and the guy smacked the gavel, and he said, "Explain yourself, Alt Swift X. What's going on? We have to take you down. I had to defend myself." It was like that Nintendo DS game with the lawyer. And we sorted it out. You know, we got the channel back. Apparently what was going on, there's this other YouTube channel. There's this channel called Alt Shift X, or Alt Shift X. It's like some kind of like parody account of Alt Swift X. Apparently, like I think Shift is like a play on the name of Swift somehow. I don't really get it, frankly. But this like Alt Shift X channel, it does like this weird parody version of Alt Swift X, where it does this really like fast-paced, like highly scripted. Here, look at all of my citations. Oh, let's do rational analysis. It's tedious bullshit. So I don't really get the Alt Shift X thing. Alt Shift X. I think it's pronounced Alt Shift X. I don't get Alt Shift X. But I do think it's rude. I don't think it's rude that this Alt Shift person would like take the good Alt Swift X name and muddy the waters and confuse the brand. It's misleading, right? For this Alt Shift X guy to be walking around. Because people might think it's the real thing. People might think it's the original, genuine, certified Alt Swift X. So look, that's a mess. But we'll put it behind us. We'll move forwards. We'll be the bigger Alt. We'll be the bigger man. And we'll just get on with doing what you guys have been asking for. I've been getting so many requests, so many comments for to continue the series that y'all have loved so much. The most popular series on this channel. We've got to continue what you've all been asking for. So finally, I'll give you guys the continuation, the next season, the next series, the next bit of what you all love. We're giving you. Get excited for some more fucking Animorphs. Yeah, boy. We're doing Animorphs. Are you ready for some bears to turn into people and then back into bears again? You want to see some brain slugs? You want to see some intergalactic genocide? Get fucking excited, because we're doing just what you all been asking for. We're doing some fucking Animorphs. Hallelujah indeed, J-Min. Yeah, Dredrick. Yeah, Smashed Avo. We're doing some Animorphs. You don't want to miss a moment of this shit. We're back in the game. Alright. Let's do it. Let's get into it. So, we're doing Chapter 3 of Animorphs. And for those of you who have missed it, who have forgotten, you might not be like up to track on your Animorphs shit. What's going on is that there's like these kids. There's like these all-American teenage kids called like Jake and Marco. So like Jake is like the like generic leader kid, whatever. And Marco is like the smart nerd guy. And Cassie... I don't know, Cassie's kind of generic, I think, and Cassie's like the empath chick. She's like the sensitive one. And then Rachel is like the kind of generic blonde one. I don't know, we'll work out what her deal is. And Tobias is like the weirdo outsider. And so they're like the Fantastic Five who are going to go on all these adventures, our perfect, like, balanced squad of different skills. It's going to be great. And they're just regular kids, and then they're like going through the creepy construction site, and in the creepy construction site they see a UFO. They see an alien landing ship, and it just crashes, and it's like, whoa, what's going on? We're just average kids. We don't know how to deal with extraterrestrial encounters. Speaking of which, I heard that there's an actual guy at the UN whose job it is to be like the official alien man. Like, in case aliens come, there's someone who's employed whose like official job description is to be like the person who talks to the aliens. That's just what I heard. But anyway, so there's like these teenagers and there's like these aliens, and we found there's like this centaur alien. It's like half centaur, half scorpion, and it's like this crazy purple alien that was like dying in this spaceship that crashed, and the alien was like, guys, kids, we gotta warn you. We gotta warn you. There's bad aliens coming. I'm a good alien, but there's a bad alien coming. And the bad aliens, we're just about to find out the identity, the nature of this mysterious, this phantom menace, you could say, of the bad aliens. So, let's begin. Let's get into it. Oh, correction, Arkita13 in the chat works for the UN, and Arkita can confirm that's not true. We'll have to do an interview with Arkita later so that they can clarify. I've got UN questions. We'll have to do another stream. UN questions. It'll be fantastic. So anyway, Animorphs 3. You hear those pages? You hear it? This is genuine shit, alright? Not like that Alt Shift X knockoff, man. It's like the Chinese counterfeit version of Alt Shift X. So let's go. Chapter 3, Animorphs. They have come to destroy you. Which is a hell of a way to start a chapter. Like we've said before, Animorphs doesn't fuck around. It goes right into the narrative bollocks of it. Just starts with the wow, bam, they have come to destroy you. There is danger that our protagonists have to handle. And then all of our protagonists, we're telling from the point of view of Jake. And Jake says, man, and he said that they've come to destroy you. And I was just like, I just knew he was telling the truth. Because, like, we've established that this Andalite, this alien, has, like, this psychic connection and can, like, telepathically, like, connect with their brain holes and tell them what's what. Which I think we should be suspicious of, right? I mean, whenever an alien consciousness is invading your brain and telling you what to believe, and you just know that it's the truth, I think you should be suspicious of that. Maybe people are being manipulated to some extent. The truth, Jake says. But anyway, so yeah, everyone's like, nah, look, let's not be skeptical. We don't say no way. We just know that this alien's being correct. So they're already brainwashed, but whatever. And so then we find out the identity of these evil aliens that are out to get us. And they are called, drumroll, the bad aliens are called Yeerks. 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 Which is a great name for a bad guy, right? Like, it screams evil and gross. It's like orcs. Yeerks. Orcs. Yeerks. Yeerks is more like, ew, yeah, you know? Because, as we're about to find out, they are gross slug people. Like, they're just little snotty, grubby parasites is what we're going to find out. We're meant to hate these aliens, which, again, I think we should be skeptical of. Whenever anyone tells you to hate a species, I think you should generally be skeptical. Like, hashtag not all Yeerks, right? But, like, whatever. So the Yeerks are bad guys, and apparently the Yeerks are already on Earth. There are many, hundreds, maybe more, on Earth, which is terrifying. They have come to destroy you, and there are hundreds of them on Earth. And Marco, the skeptic, is like, Arkita, correct again. Alt Shift X is female, little known fact. And so Marco, the skeptic, is like, man, here's my question. If there were hundreds of evil slugs on the planet here to destroy us, don't you think they would have told us that at school? Which, I'm with Marco. That's a pretty cogent argument. I mean, schools teach you trigonometry and like spreadsheets and all this other crap you're never gonna use. Whereas they don't mention the evil slugs at all. So maybe they aren't real, but no, the Andalites, no, you don't get it. Yeerks are scary, man. Yeerks live in the bodies of other species. They're like these parasites. They get inside and they control you. That's what the controllers were, we were talking about before. And so we see a hologram. Well, not a hologram, but like a telepathic image gets projected into the kids' brains, which again, crazy scary power. Like, do you want someone, like, if someone else can project an image into your brain, wouldn't that allow them to manipulate your perception in other ways? If someone can put pictures in your head, couldn't they put a picture of what you are seeing except altered? You know, couldn't they alter your perception in subtle ways that you can't tell that's happening? Like, that's scary. But anyway, so he projects an image of what Yeerks look like, and it's a slimy grey-green thing about the size of a rat. It's ugly. Marco describes it as, well, I guess either that was a Yeerk or that was a big wad of slimy chewing gum. You gotta love kids writing, because you gotta use analogies and similes that people relate to, right? And hashtag teen life, they gotta compare it to chewing gum. But anyway, so the Andalite is describing the Yeerks, and he's like, well, the Yeerks, normally they're just like sluggos, little sluggo butters, but they can take over hosts. So they can take over the body of a human. Oh, and the Andalite is dying meanwhile. The Andalite is in pain and sadness because he's been like shot by sluggos or something. So he's dying, but he's expositing while he's dying, which by the way is not, it's not how I want to go out. I don't want to die expositing. I don't want my tombstone to be like that Star Wars text scroll from the start of the movie. You know, you don't want... Anyway, so he's describing the Yeerks, and he's like, the Yeerks are parasites, and they're these slugs, they're brain slugs, they go inside the bodies of other creatures, and they become what's called controllers, because they control the host's thoughts and feelings and make them do whatever they want to do, which is, of course, horrifying. And it is also, of course, possibly real, right? Like, remember, you know, like, there's, like, these wasps, or larvae, or, like, something. There's some kind of thingy that goes inside the bodies of, like, ants, and I'm saying... it's been alleged that Animorphs is actually furry propaganda directed at the youths of America. That's an interesting theory, OK Channel. Anyway, sorry. And so, isn't it a true fact that there's like these wasps or something that can lay eggs inside ants, and then ants get mind controlled by the wasps? This is a real life thing where the ants get forced to like build stuff for the wasps and like build little temples and ornaments and bake little chocolate cakes for the wasps. It's something like that. Yeah, it's a real thing. The zombie parasite wasp larvae. It's a thing. So that's terrifying, and it's real. There are real life brain slugs. Right? Oh, Limbo. Yeah, Miss Miri points out Limbo. It's also in like the spiritual successor Inside, isn't it? There's this great series of indie video games that have these brain slugs in them, and they're fucking terrifying, man. I think like it's one thing to have monsters that kill people. Like that's one thing. That's something you can understand. But monsters that take over the body and mind of you and your loved ones is something even more horrifying, right? So don't do it. If there are any brain slugs listening, please. Anyway, so the point is that that's what the Yeerks are. They're brain slugs. They enter people's bodies. They take over their minds and thoughts. But and this is the interesting bit. It's not like complete control. The host can resist at least a little the Yeerks' control, and so therefore the Yeerks try to get the host to accept them voluntarily. And that. Oh man, so many cool fan theories. Diffuse is suggesting that the Animorph lizards are a distraction from the real-world lizards that control our society. Possible. Plausible myth. Sorry, but so this is why the Yeerks are scary. They don't completely 100% control the host. They just 99% control it. So they try to sort of seduce you and get you to go along with it, which makes them even more scary because, like, it's not like the person is dead who's being controlled. they are like alive and they have some kind of agency and control, some sliver of agency and control, which the Yeerks tries to sort of convince them and seduce them into playing along, which is even more scary and even more realistic, right? Because like if it's this totally supernatural magical control, it's kind of like, okay, whatever. But the fact that it's like this what's the word? I haven't got the right word, but the Yeerks are trying to convince the humans to play along, which makes it more realistic because it's like real world kinds of coercion. That was the word. It's coercive, right? And in the real world, there's all sorts of like corporations and governments and people trying to coerce us into doing lots of different things. That's more realistic than pure 100% mind control. So that's why the Yeerks are interesting, that there's some degree of agency in the hosts, if you follow me. Anyway, so that fucking Alt-Shift guy ain't got shit on Alt-Shift-X. He wouldn't have followed that. He can't explain this. Anyway, Subject X is talking about brain slug rights, and we're gonna get to that because this is actually pretty dark what the Andalite is advocating against the slugs. We're going to get to that. But first, the kids are all horrified. They're taking over human bodies? Oh, that's so evil. This is serious stuff, Jake says. We're just kids. The government should handle this. But, the government's probably, in on it. And then the Andalite describes all the space stuff that happened that caused him to get shot. There are bug fighters in Z space that shot down, and there was a blade ship. So we got a whole bunch of space jargon about the space battle that just happened that wounded the Andalite between the Yeerks and the Andalites. And yeah, they're bug fighters. They're like insects, which is funny, right? Like insects, like we as humans, as mammals, we seem pretty happy to just write off insects as cunts, right? I mean, lots of humans have a lot of sympathy for, cows and chickens that are used in the meat industry, and gorillas and all these beautiful elephants and all these great, mammals. We love the mammals. When has anyone ever advocated for insect rights? All right, we tend to assume that, the insects are too dumb. They don't have rights because they're too dumb. But A, that's rude. Dumb people have rights. And also, well, I don't know, maybe there are cockroach philosophers, who knows? Maybe, insects and reptiles as well. We seem to hate reptiles, but why don't reptiles have rights? Komodo dragons probably have opinions on music and stuff. Who knows? But the point is that yeah, it's interesting that insects are always the bad guys. It's like in Starship Troopers or whatever, they're just the faceless horde of insects. Maybe some of them are nice. I don't know. Anyway, so the Yeerks are bad guys. There's been space battles. We're talking about Dracon beams. There's all sorts of jargon. But it's described that the Andalites have been waging this war against the Yeerks for ages, and wherever the Yeerks go, the Andalites fight them. Which, that's what you call genocide, isn't it? When you describe that there's this specific people, this species, and you fight them wherever they go, does that mean if they run away, you can't kill retreating people, even just because they're bugs, right? That's not cool. You can't just hunt down another civilization into extinction, can you? I mean, we've done that. Humans have done that a lot. What with all the megafauna and whatnot. You know how much cool megafauna there used to be? Giant wombats and giant birds walking around. Crazy. But they're all killed because the humans got them. Humans, no one's done more awful genocide than humans, I tell you. Prehistory is ugh. But the point is that now that humans are more aware of our power and what we're doing, we should tone down the genocide, is what I'd suggest. We should probably, try to leave some of the whales alive, maybe. Just a suggestion. But these Andalites, for all their psychic transcendent knowledge and technology, they seem to have little mercy for the Yeerks. They seem pretty happy to just wipe them out. But that said, we don't know the full context of this battle. Maybe the Yeerks really are so dangerous that they really do have to be wiped out. But hey, that's an ethical quandary for y'all to ponder. Is genocide ever okay? It doesn't sound like it should be when you pose it that way. But whatever. Defuse in the comments, he loves a bit of genocide. They love. Got to use the gender-neutral pronouns. Team Shackles suggests that bugs are human too. I like the sentiment. Not technically true. Bugs not human, but that doesn't mean that they're not anyway. So we'll continue. And so basically, we're advocating genocide. And Marco's like, man, no one's gonna believe us about this interstellar species. People will think we're either nuts or on drugs. That's another thing about a lot of these kids' books. I think specifically K.A. Applegate is not a fan of drugs. Drugs are bad, okay? Is what K.A. Applegate would have us believe. And anyway, so like Rachel is like, man, we've got to help this dying alien. We've got to get this alien to a hospital. Which would be funny. Imagine bringing a half centaur, half scorpion alien into the emergency room and just saying, "Fix this." Might not end well. Remember Dustin in Stranger Things 2 putting the alien Demogorgon dog into the fridge for later experimentation. That's what's more likely. But yes, exactly. Smashed Avo. Are we the baddies? Well, who are those guys who did that sketch? It's the Peep Show guys. But anyway, let's not get sidetracked. So there's war between the Yeerks and the Andalites, and the Andalite guy is dying, and he's like, hey, all right, look, I've got to help you. The Yeerks are here to destroy you, therefore, I'm going to help you out. Go into my thingy. Oh, is there lag? All right. Yeah, so looks like the stream is a bit dodgy. We'll work out a way to fix that later. But anyway, so there's been conflict, and someone says, okay, the Andalite says you have to go into the ship, you have to grab something that's going to help you in the fight. And so Jake is like, I have to go into the ship. This is scary. But then Cassie gives him a little smile, and since Jake has a crush on his cutie cousin Cassie, he goes ahead into the ship. And he's scared, but he does it anyway. And that's what bravery is, Bran. It wasn't a spoiler for Stranger Things. Don't worry. It's cool. That wasn't a spoiler. It's cool. Yeah, David Mitchell. That's the one. Anyway, and so Jake's like, yep, I'm going to go into the alien spaceship. You know, it's no big deal. Just walking into an alien spaceship. And Mitchell and Weber. It's Mitchell and Webb, isn't it? Not Weber, Weber. I don't fucking know. And so they go into the ship, and Jake describes the interior design of this alien. It's surprisingly simple, he says. It's pretty like minimalist. It's got it's mostly like a creamy color with rounded edges and oval shapes. It's got nice feng shui. Like you can really feel the sort of like the flow of the room. Aliens are into minimalism. We learn. And there's no like buttons or anything. Apparently the Andalites control the spaceships with their mind. So telepathy is what they're all about. And he goes and looks and he grabs the thing that the Andalite told him to grab, which is a cube. It's a cube, and he takes it out to the ship. But he also sees a 3-dimensional hologram of 4 Andalites standing together. It's a family photo of the Andalites. So we're like, oh god, this is depressing. This dying guy has a family, has kids, has a partner, and he's dying, and it fills Jake with sadness to think that this alien is dying a million miles from his family, all because he was trying to help to protect the people of the Earth. And so we get all this sympathy that Jake has for the Andalites, and then he feels a small flame of anger against the Yeerks for causing this. Which is like, I mean, you know, some Yeerks have clearly done something bad, but should you hate all of the Yeerks? Are they all responsible for this crime? I don't know. But anyway, so Jake comes out with the box, and Andalite's like, cheers, mate. Was that your fam back in there? And Andalite's like, yes, mate, that's my fam. Now I'm dying, and it's sad. And the Andalite's like, okay, all right, this cube, it's going to level you up. It's going to power you up. You're going to get powers to help you fight against the Yeerks. This is your best hope. It's going to be great. And so all the gang, they all look at each other. It's like Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The gang We could work out which character's which, aren't we? I think Mac is probably Jake, Marco probably, and then like D is probably Rachel, and I'm feeling Charlie as Tobias, which I guess makes Jake Dennis, and then does that make Cassie Danny DeVito? I don't know. Anyway, and so this cube is going to give the kids powers so that they can fight against the Yerks, the Yerkoffs. Yeah, that's a good one, Rasheen. And so the power to morph is what this cube is going to give the kids. The power to morph, which means that they can change their bodies to become any animal species. This is Animorphs, and we're gonna get the kids are gonna get the ability to morph into animals, which is A, fucking cool. But B, what are the limitations of that? I wonder. What counts as an animal that you can change into? I guess microbes, are they animals? Viruses, unicellular organisms? What about like trees? Is that an animal? And what about those forests that are technically all one organism? Did you hear, like, apparently, technically, the most heavy large organism in the world is a forest that's all connected in the roots, so that, and all of the trees are actually technically the same tree, the same organism. Do you think that would count as one animal that they could morph into? I guess trees aren't animals, but who am I to say? Anyway, they're about to get this cube. They're about to get the power to change into animals. And it's going to be great. But Marco's like, really? You're giving us the power to change into animals? Is that a real thing? I don't believe you. I'm a skeptic. But skeptics are annoying and always wrong in fiction. And then we get some more exposition about like how the morphing works, and the Andalite is like, okay, in order to acquire the DNA pattern of an animal, you just need to touch it, and then you can grab its DNA, which, you'd think would require consent at the least. If someone's going to acquire my DNA pattern, you could at least ask nicely first. This is like some Gattaca shit, I'm gonna have to like rub off all my extra skin cells so no one steals my morph. Can you morph into other humans? I don't even know that. Like, why not? Humans are animals, so can you morph into your mate? Can you morph? What, you could do the Harry Potter move of turning everyone into Harry Potter. Wouldn't that be great? A bunch of Daniel Radcliffes running around Animorphs. Man, I don't know. Somniac suggests that maybe you could morph into alien animals. I'm pretty sure you can do that. I'm pretty sure later in the series they change into an Andalite, like the scorpion centaur thing, which is cool. What if you changed into a Yerk, one of the brain slugs, and then you controlled someone else who was also a human who was animorphed into a Andalite, and then it's Yerks all the way down. You could do some wacky stuff. Anyway, so they describe some of the rules with the Animorph stuff, like you have to get concentrated and determined in order to morph into an animal. You have to be strong to do it, but there are limitations, there are dangers involved in morphing. We don't get told what they are right now, but we're told that we'll learn more later. So there's lots of possibilities for learning new intricacies of the rules later on. Freaking Fack has an idea suggesting that you might be able to morph into a particular species, but not into a particular individual. So you can become a lion, but you can't become Simba. That's a great explanation. Better than that old Shiftex wanker. That maybe that's it. So maybe if you tried to morph into a particular human, you'd just morph into some, I don't know, generic human or some random other human or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, look, I don't know. There's some heavy stuff in here. Anyway, Swift can't morph into Shift because they're different species. Man, don't be ridiculous. He's one of the insects, I'm sure. Anyway, so Marco's like, look, this is ridiculous. Like, Yerk, spaceship, slugs, like, none of this is real. Give me a break. Give me a gosh damn break. I can't handle your wackiness. What am I in? Some kind of 90s children's book? Don't be absurd. I'm Marco. I'm a realist. But then Jake's like, oh, well, more exists in heaven and earth than in your philosophy. or something like that. And then yeah, this is so wacky and weird, but we just got to deal with this. We've got to be pragmatic, Rachel suggests, which is true. Like, I mean, here's the thing: you don't go on about skepticism when the ghost of old Hamlet is in front of you, going like, "You need a murderer, cunt." Like, that's not the time when you ask, "Are ghosts real?" There's a time and a place, and when there's an alien dying in front of you, that's not when you do it. Anyway, so Cassie's like, fuck it, I'm a pragmatist, I'm going to touch the cube, I'm going to get the powers, I'm going to fight the good fight, let's do it. And Tobias does as well, because they feel the truth of what the Andalite was saying, which again, feeling truth, that's not how evidence works. But anyway, so they're all like, yeah, we're gonna do it. Power Rangers assemble. Let's get some superpowers and fight some slugs. And then there's a bright red light shooting across the sky, and the Andalite, with hatred, says, "Yucks." Ooh, shit. So I've ended with as hard an ending as we've started with, right? Every chapter in this book starts and ends with danger and with like narrative force. Like, if you want a really punchy story, you everything starts and ends with impetus, with stuff going in a direction. And so what's happening now is that the evil brain slugs are coming down in their ships right now. It's a page jerker, man. It drives you from chapter to chapter. Can't put this stuff down when you're a kid. It's exciting stuff. And there's also all these like philosophical questions, like what happens if an Animorph turns into a Yeerk, and then the Yeerk controls another Animorph, and then that Animorph turns into a Yeerk, and then that Yeerk it's like a babushka doll or a Matroska doll or whatever it is. Look, it's crazy stuff. There's deep stuff. I'm excited, and I think this concludes chapter 3 of Animorphs. Damn, thank you all for participating. Thank you all for your suggestions, your ideas. I think we've got some great discussion going. You need some real hardcore literary analysis to get through this Animorph stuff. It's not like that, what is it? The Game of Thrones? Thronies? What's that about? Like dragons and swords. Silliness. This Animorphs, this has some deep philosophical questions to uncover. This has some pathos and some drama between these complex, layered characters. We got dying aliens with families in space. This is you know what this is? This is the alien heart in conflict with brain slugs is what this story is all about, and it's amazing. So, thank you for participating. Furry propaganda, we're going to have to read some more. Yes, freaking fact, you should read more books. Books are great. We're going to be doing some more stuff on this channel, maybe on some other channels, because books are great, and there's a lot of them that are great, and I think we should talk about them and have a good time. So that's what we'll be doing later on, but for now we're concluding the stream. Thank you again for participating. We'll expect more things on this channel in the future. Have a good time. Have a good week. Eat your vegetables, exercise, and get some vitamin D. So long.